if this isn't a Disney Channel original movie with good direction, good writing, and good acting and a high-ass budget, I'm gonna need to see the full list again because it's been a very long time since I was into the Cheetah Girls and actually watched DComs. Hi, and welcome back to Ricky's Rant, Rave, and Review. Still going off these Oscar nominations. I literally just recorded my review of The Shape of Water. Still changed my outfit because reasons. But now we're doing Lady Bird. And so I have talked on this movie before. I've tweeted an unholy amount about this movie. And then I finally watched it. Did I like it? Keep watching and you'll find out. As the name suggests, we're going to go over some rants first. So here's my rant for this movie. It felt like an R-rated Disney Channel original movie. And I'm not saying that to be sarcastic. It literally hits all the same notes of most coming-of-age stories, of a whole lot of Disney Channel movies, which seems really fucking weird to me to say. But there's a teenage protagonist who lives in a city that she hates, lives in the suburbs, goes to a private and or public school. It's private school, but in those types of, coming of age movies, there's always like the quirky kid in the high school. And this is that movie. Lady Bird is that quirky kid in the high school who was like, oh, I hate everything about my life. It all just sucks. And I'm just like, girl, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, Jesus Christ, I know it's a coming of age story. And I know that most of these things usually start off with annoying ass teenage protagonists. I was a teenager literally only about 8 months ago. I was annoying up until I turned 20. I'm still annoying now, but like regardless of that fact, they always have painfully annoying protagonists, and it's hard to root for them because writers and their actors expect you to see these annoying teenage protagonists and be like, oh, aren't they cute, funny, charming, and quirky? I'm like, no, they're disrespectful, annoying, and they really need an attitude adjustment. Like, it wasn't cute when Lady Bird was in the car fussing at her mom about how she hated her life. And I was really siding with the mom because her mom was like, hey, just be considerate. You have a pretty okay life. I mean, we're poor, but like, you got both your parents have jobs, you live in a house with your own bedroom, mind you. You go to a private school. Just consider the facts of your life. It's not that bad. And she's just like, oh, I hate Sacramento. I want to go to the East Coast, which, calm down. East Coast is not all it's worked up to be. New York is just cold and congested and it smells bad. It's the same as Los Angeles in a lot of the same ways. But like, it was just I was so annoyed with Lady Bird's character for like the first 45 minutes of this movie. And this movie's only 90 minutes. I was annoyed with her for half the fucking movie. That's not good. And like, this is why I avoid coming of age stories so much, because they usually start off the same with teenagers who are just like crazy annoying, who have to go through some stuff to like learn how to not be annoying, which is like chill. That's how a lot of teenagers grow up. But like, there's a point where it just feels not well done. Like, everyone says teenagers are annoying. I don't like saying that because it just feels rude. Like, they're still going through puberty. Please calm down. But like, this is just that trope pushed to a million. And another reason why I avoid movies like this is because they're so hard to relate to. One thing about coming of age stories that I think a lot of people have missed the point of the last couple years is the more these keep getting cranked out, is that they're supposed to be relatable. It's hard to relate to a character who is just so genuinely unlikable for a good portion of this movie. Like, Saoirse Ronan does a really good job as Lady Bird. I gotta give her props. She deserves that Golden Globe. But like, when she does the shit that she does, it doesn't come off as quirky or funny or as, oh, a character flaw. It just comes off as, oh my god, she's actually a shitty person. Like, it's pretty predictable what she does in this. So like, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but if you've seen any other teenage movie, she cheats on tests, she lies to her parents, she ditches her friends. It's all that similar stuff, and it hits all the same notes, and it's just, ooh, I couldn't stand it. Like, if you want to make a movie about a teenager learning about growing up, developing emotionally, you cannot do stuff where their character is just so goddamn annoying for a majority of your film. It's bad writing to me. And then just like, this is more of just like a nitpick that I have with like a lot of movies, but I feel like when people hype up movies like this, I expect to take something away from it. I didn't take away much from this movie aside from the fact that she graduated and she learned how to be less terrible. That's all I got from this movie, which, like, I didn't like, because when you're targeting a movie towards a specific target audience, this is very obviously targeted at young adults and like teenagers. It has an R rating, but if you're like 16, you can watch this. They just curse a lot. But like, when your target audience is that, I expect to have like a lesson or a takeaway aside from, hey, don't be a douchey person. And that's all I really got out of this, was don't be a douchey person. And now for the rave of this movie. I know I rambled on for a sec there about the stuff that I did dislike, but it was all pretty contained to the one main thing of Lady Bird's character and herself, and just how I didn't like her character. Now, what I did like in this movie was the acting. It's pretty damn stellar. Laurie Metcalf and Saoirse Ronan kill it in this movie. I gotta give them their props. I really enjoyed Laurie Metcalf's character. Saoirse Ronan, although I didn't like Lady Bird as a character, I like Saoirse Ronan as an actress. She was very compelling. She plays Lady Bird's role very well and very believably. I forgot she was Irish until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. And it's just really, they're both very good, and they deserve their nominations. I'm going to say that. The writing in this is also very good. It's very, I don't want to say nuanced, because it's really not. It's all pretty straightforward. But there are certain one-liners and certain, like, speeches that people would give. There aren't a lot of speeches, but, like, certain, like, dialogue exchanges that people would give. And then there's one line in particular between Lady Bird and her mom when they're shopping for a dress. It's in the trailer, where her mom says, I just want you to be the best version of yourself that you can. And then Lady Bird says, what if this is the best version? That is a very, very, very well-written line. I really like that, because it just kind of encompasses what it feels like to be growing up, and what you're like. And when you're like, oh, God, is this how I'm going to be forever? Just awkward and gangly and just forever trying to figure myself out. And I really like that exchange. And that's on part because Greta Gerwig's writing in that scene is very good. And Laurie Metcalf and Saoirse Ronan's acting throughout the entire movie is just amazing. The direction in this is very well done. It's a very good film to look at in terms of like aesthetic. The early 2000s aesthetic really carries over from it. I was feeling pretty damn nostalgic about this, even though in 2002 I was a fetus. Not really. I was like 4. But like just the feel of it, the whole, I was watching this movie just thinking back on what it was like growing up in the early 2000s, what it's like to be a teenager what it was like to be a teenager in the 2010s era, decade, whatever. But it has a very nice vibe to it. It's very good to look at, and it really captures what it's like to grow up in like this new millennial era, Gen X, late 90s, early 2000s, and so forth. It really captures what it's like to grow up then. And I really do credit that to the fact that Greta Gerwig is still particularly young. She's 35, I think. She's like under 40 in her 30s. But she captures that really well in that. And I gotta give her props for that. But overall, I'm kinda on the fence about this movie, because I'm not a fan of coming of age stories. I'm especially not a fan of coming of age stories that focus on white stories. I was talking to my best friend on the phone about this, and she said the vibe that she got from the movie from watching the trailer and reading about it, was that it was a coming of age story for young white women. And that's what it is. And that's why it was so hard for me to relate to it. That's why I knocked on it so hard before seeing it. And like, even before I saw it, a lot of the stuff that I thought was going to happen in this movie happened in this movie. And predictability can be good, especially in like movies like this. Like, how are you going to twist and turn in a movie about a 17-year-old girl just like figuring out her life? Like, you can't do that. But I'm just really on the fence about this one. I'm really feeling like a 2.5. I understand why people like this, but I personally couldn't recommend it to anybody that I know, because like I know a lot of black women and a lot of gay people and a lot of trans people. That doesn't really, well, it does cover it, but not like to an extent to be like, oh wow, it's got this great plot about like transgender people or gay people or black people, because it has none of that. And then, this is something that really sat weird with me. I was really uncomfortable by the fact that that Lady Bird, whose real name is Christine, like her legal name is Christine, Lady Bird is her nickname, although she was like, no, Lady Bird is my actual name. I don't like stuff like that with cis characters. I'm not cis. I have picked out my own name. I don't like having to hear my dead name all the time, so it was really uncomfortable to me how like gung-ho she was about, no, you gotta call me Ladybird, you can't call me Christine, when she's not a trans character. It wasn't like, oh, it wasn't like, hi, I'm Christine, this is my nickname, Ladybird. She's like, no, you call me Ladybird, and if you don't call me Ladybird, you're wrong. And it didn't sit well with me. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. So yeah, 2.5 of a movie. If you are someone who this movie is obviously targeting, go ahead and watch it. You'll probably like it more than I did. If you're not someone in the target audience of this movie, proceed with caution. You might come away with the same type of feelings that I had about this. But that was my review for Lady Bird. My voice is tired. I gotta edit this and my Shape of review. My Shape of Water review. Those will be up soon. And this has been Ricky's Rant, Rave, and Review. Lady Bird sure is a movie.